Special, 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 special.
I recorded the whole album in England, in London, and this album, compared to the others, you know, I got to start and finish myself, I guess. I got to make those decisions. I got to you know, be fully responsible. And something that I needed to do after the first 3 albums, which, you know, after working with so many different producers and different... You know it's hard enough to be without. I'll leave it up to you. What should I say?
How was the work organized? Like you did the writing first, or you were
No, it was nothing.
all at the same time?
Yeah, it was all happening at the same time. Really, nothing was organised. I guess that was the difference with this record. It was nothing was kind of preset, really worked out. It just kind of happened day to day, and however we felt from that day to day. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but. There's just a that feeling of, you know, not having that pressure, that added pressure. In a sense, you take on another pressure because you have the responsibility, but that's when you're doing something you want to do and you feel something and you make those decisions, then you do it spontaneously, or one tries to do it spontaneously anyway, how you're feeling at that moment. But not to say you don't change your mind a week later. And I had the chance to do that, so we had we had room to play and experiment, and you know, I'm very thankful for the record company to have allowed me and supported me on exactly what I wanted to do, and let me get on with it, really. That's what happened. There'll be tomorrow. Well, once we decided that's what we were doing, then it was a question of just getting down to it. And with the 4 guys that I'd used on and off, working on the other records.
That's your usual thing, right?
Well, they hadn't been usual previous, but they were people that I had worked with from the very beginning, from the earliest demos. Mike Paxman and Paul Muggleton, who produced Promise Myself. And they produced all my earliest demos and some of the tracks on the early albums, and Toby Anderson and Kadir Gire, who worked a great part of the last album, Move Until We Fly.
I promised myself, I promised I'll wait for you, the midnight hour. I know you'll shine on through. I promised myself, I promised the world to you.
working on the record, did you take your time like to survey the music scene, the evolution of the scene? Did anything particularly struck you?
Not to, you know, I was aware of things that were going on. It wasn't so much individual artists or, you know, if one just takes a trip down to a club these days, you're going to hear, depending on what style of club, if you go to, you know, if you go into a rave or one of the acid clubs, you're going to hear some interesting things, and it's only you're going to learn a few things if you're open to it. And I guess with a combination of the new rhythms and just been working on it myself, and with Toby and Kadir, who are very much into club music, you know, they've been teaching me, I guess, a thing or two about rhythms, and then from my past, so much of the music I grew up with and listened to, reintroducing it in my own way. But you know, for me, melodies, that's my strongest, if you like, that's my strongest, my forte. I guess if there was one thing that I could say, you know, that this melody is. So I'm always thinking and singing melodies. I'm not thinking too much about rhythms. That's Toby's department. And with the combination, you know, you just try and come up with, you know, with something that's hopefully quite fresh and, you know.
Softly, darling, come to me, stay, oh, you're my obsession, forever and a day.
Now I'm gonna touch a subject that you probably had to answer to like a million times, which is the legendary Levi's commercial, if you don't mind. I would like to know if you received any strange or obscene proposals to be on commercial after that.
Not really, you know, it was just that, you know, I was off by then. I was off, you know, in the music, and I know things came along, but really it you know, that was then, and you know, this is now. It really is, you know.
Never took it seriously again.
No, you know, it just happened. It wasn't a quite. It wasn't that one didn't take it seriously, or the people that that happened. It was one of those strange feats, if you like. It was, no one had any idea or any control on it, really. But it's something I had to deal with personally. But you know, but it wasn't what I was set out to do. So you know, I had to just keep moving on and, you know, getting on with what.
But anyway, what's your stand about music being used in commercial, like popular songs that a lot of fans are almost devoted to, being used for shoes or jeans or medicines?
You know, it's a way of it's just the way the world's going. It's And you know, a popular tune again, a melody. It shows how important a melody is. It can send. You can sell anything on a melody, and it's just. But you know, there's so much. Each to their own, you know. I don't really have any definite, or even if I haven't really given it that much thought, to be honest. You know, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, a lot of people get upset the fact that Beatle tracks have been used on Nike or trainers or whatever, but so what? You know, it's just music, you know. Let's not, everybody gets so precious about it, and personal about it, and the fact is that, you know, kids wear shoes and kids listen to music, and the two kind of go, it all goes a bit hand in hand anyways. People take it all far too seriously. There's so much other shit going on in the world that's got, you know, far more important than worrying about whether one song's been used on a commercial or not. It just, you know.
You mentioned the different process in the making of whatever, whenever, your latest album. What about differences in styles and influences for this latter album you put out?
Well, you know, as time's gone on, and as you know, I've got more. Built up my confidence, I guess, with writing and singing and the sound of things, the sound of my music. I guess more and more the influences become clearer, what I'm about and who I can relate to. And, you know, many people I've been influenced from in the past and have adapted and tried things out, and some things have worked and some things haven't, and some areas aren't as comfortable as others, but it takes time to, you know, to find this out. Just developing, you know, researching and developing and working on oneself. And the new album I feel more comfortable with than anything I've done, really, because I've been allowed, I've had the time to, you know, have some kind of understanding with myself and with people that I've been influenced, to be able to see why I'm influenced and why it works for me, rhythms and you know, sounds and instrumentation and things from the past, I guess, which are pretty obvious, but you know, it's only natural that one gets inspiration from the past. There's so much of it.
Is this the very first time you're totally involved in doing videos and making videos?
No, I've made most of them with Mark and get involved with each one to whatever extent I need to. I mean, with the new one I shot parts of it and I edited parts of it. And Mark and my brother, Barry, kind of, then it took the main bulk of it. I let them get on with it, really. As far as the animation, there was a lot of animation and live paint work going on directly onto celluloid. So it was, it's different, put it that way.
She's underrated, so overpaid, so overstated. You know it's wrong, you have the right to say why. You're not the only one I care about. You know it's hard enough to be without. I'll leave it up to you. What should I say why?
Well, once again, I worked with Mark LeBon, who I've shot most of my videos with. He's one of my oldest mates from London, and with my brother, we just worked a whole series of ideas into this one video. I guess it's a bit like a scrapbook, if you like, of film and different techniques and different ideas that we hadn't tried before with Super 8 and with High 8 and with 35mm and with paint.
Is the painting work derived from your brother's activity? Was it like the main counselor for the painting stuff?
Yeah, not just the painting, kind of overall. I'd like to give him that freedom to, to work. Not that it's something that he works in often in that medium and on the kind of commercial level, but he does with me, and he enjoys it, I guess, within using me as an image within his work. He can feel free to still, mash it up as one.
So little time to live. I'm strong.
paint as well. So, but I kind of keep that separate from
the public eye.
Yeah, from the public, and just, you know, it's just nice having, you know, I'm lucky that I've got my brother. I can have his input and let him, you know, I have more than enough to be getting on with in terms of the music. And but it's just great to work in a team like that and have your friends and people that care and are trying to, who are excited by working, you know, and you know, trying to create something, trying to do something for the sake of doing it, you know, and you know, we are, you know, we're very lucky in that sense that we are allowed to run wild a little bit, and you know, it doesn't always fit in with the pattern or the flow of whatever else is going on at the time. But I mean, I need to do that, and they also need to, and we're just fortunate we can get away with it.
I have kissed your lips 1,000 times, more time I can't count. I have called you mine. You stood by me in my darkest hour. Your love has given me so much power.
Okay, let's finish the interview with your solo plans now. Are you planning to tour to support the new record?
Yeah, I hope to go on tour by the end of summer. So really, you know, I'm just working now on continuing on the promotion and the press and TVs, and then start rehearsing in the middle of summer.
Do you have a band already?
I have the members that played with me before in 1990 when I came to Italy, and I have some new members I'd like to try out. So, you know, I have players available, and you know, with this album, a lot of it was played live and worked live in the studio. So it's not going to be too difficult actually for me to get that across. It's just time, really. It's a matter of time. So you know, I just take one thing at a time. But you know, I really look forward to getting back on stage, because it was a crack.